Have you ever done something extremely dangerous to try to save someone else? Um, in late July, I was driving down the highway at about 7:30 in the morning. I was going about 75 miles an hour. I was driving south on the highway, and I was kind of just like tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Just focused on the road. There wasn't much traffic that morning. It was a nice morning. The weather was nice. And as I was driving down the road, something kind of caught the corner of my eye in the median. And as I was, driving by, I looked, and in my mind, I saw a woman laying face down in the median. Um, Now, to give you a better picture, all I could see was a woman laying face down in the median. I did not see an accident. I didn't see a car crash. Nothing. Now, keep in mind, the northbound lane was elevated, so I was at a lower elevation. So if there was an accident, I wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. So in my mind, very quickly, um, you know, I remember saying, "What the fuck?" Like I'm trying to sort it out. Like, why is there a woman laying in the median? I don't see a car. There's no accident. Um, so my thought was there must have been an accident in the northbound lane and she was ejected and landed in the median. So my adrenaline started going crazy, and I pulled over on the side of the highway. There was another SUV that had pulled over as well, but they did not get out of the vehicle. I pulled over behind them and jumped out of the vehicle and ran up the highway towards oncoming traffic, which is where the dangerous part comes in, because to get to this person laying in the median, I had to run across a bridge. So I was running north in the southbound lane, so I was running towards oncoming traffic, and I had to run across a bridge. And if you're familiar with bridges in upstate New York, they don't really have shoulders. The shoulder's only like maybe a foot wide. So I'm running towards oncoming traffic, 75, 80 miles an hour on a shoulder that's only about a foot wide to get to this, what I thought was a woman laying face down in the median. And when I reached this person, um, that's when the grim reality set in. The first thing I noticed was the person's legs. They were, um, I won't go into too much detail, but um, the legs from the shins down were destroyed, um, basically ripped off. Not basically, they were ripped off. But it was not a woman; it was a motorcyclist. And as soon as I saw the helmet, I realized, I put two and two together. Um, what happened was this: it was a 28-year-old guy on a Harley. It wasn't a crotch rocket. He tried to pass between two tractor trailers, and the wind buffeting between the two trailers caused him to lose control. And I guess he bounced off one of the trucks or both of the trucks and hit the guardrail, and he ended up in the median, like the moment before I drove down the highway. So I was the first person to get to him. But I've had a lot of people ask me, why did you do that? That's kind of the reason why I made this video. Um, what caused you to hop out of your car and run up the highway towards oncoming traffic? That's, in hindsight, I totally could have gotten hit by a car. Actually, I almost got hit by a tractor trailer. Very, very close. Very close. A flatbed tractor trailer. He wouldn't get out of the way, and he came pretty close, uncomfortable. But but the reason why I did it is because I thought it was a woman. Because I've asked myself this question quite a few times over the last 5 or 6 months. Why did you do that? And the reason is I thought it was a woman. and um, it would have been a large woman. I mean, this was a, this was a pretty big guy. So it had nothing to do with like a princess damsel in distress type thing. I thought it was a woman, and she was in the median by herself, and nobody was helping her. And my first instinct was to pull over and run to her as fast as possible, and that's exactly what I did. It was just it was an instinct. Um, I don't, I'm not sure if my reaction would have been the same had I known that it was a man when I was driving down the highway. And that's what's interesting to me. I think the reason why I reacted the way that I did, the reason why my adrenaline started going crazy was instinct. It's natural. Men are designed to provide and protect women. When to this day, when I see a woman or a little girl or whatever crying, it breaks my heart. It's just instinct. Unless she's an asshole, then I don't really care. Um, but that's why I did what I did. That's why I put myself in harm's way, because I thought it was a woman. If I knew it was a male motorcyclist, you know, I don't know if I would have done the same thing, honestly. And there's nothing I could have done anyway. He passed away. But the moral of the story is, I've had a lot of people ask me, why did you do that? Why did you run up the highway towards oncoming traffic? You could have gotten yourself killed, blah, 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 family and otherwise. And I realized today the reason, because I drove past the scene this morning, the reason why I had that instinct, the reason why my adrenaline started going crazy and I pulled over and ran towards oncoming traffic is because I thought the person in the median was female. That's interesting to me. I don't know if I would have done the same thing had I known that it was a guy. I don't know if I would have. I still probably would have pulled over, but I don't think I'd have the same sense of urgency. You know what I mean? Like when you see a woman struggling or suffering, me at least, I just want to help. And that's why I did what I did. So yeah, I just sorted that out today. You might do the same thing, given the opportunity. You don't know until those situations happen.